Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Raul Sunico, President of the Cultural Center of the Philippines.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Cultural Center of the Philippines, I would like to extend my congratulations to the KABAYAO family on their multiple memorable events that we are celebrating today. As we just saw in the video a few minutes ago, it is really difficult to believe that the boyish-looking, debonair Gilopez is already turning 85 years old. And equally as amazing is the fact that the KABAYAO family, in all their totality, 5 members, have endured the years of partnership. That even though the children are now busy with their respective careers and they all have different locations, they still find the time and the occasion to come together like this afternoon to make beautiful music together. Indeed, the KABAYAO family is our answer to the Bontrac family. I'm sure you would agree. Those of you who did not see Sound of Music, well, you have missed half of your life. So if you're not here this afternoon, you have missed the other half of your life. The KABAYAO family is a harmonious one, and they make beautiful music, not only literally but also symbolically, where harmony exists not only in their music but also in their family relationship. My relationship, association, and friendship with Gilopez and Corazon dates back to my high school years. And of course, that was not yesterday. I first met Gilopez as a starstruck high school student at the Ateneo University, where our singing group, which was composed of high school glee club members from Ateneo de Manila and St. Paul, Quezon City, banded together to form this pop singing group called the Charaders. And actually, I don't recall who among us, definitely not I, because I've never met Gilopez before, who was the one instrumental in inviting Gilopez to come and coach our group. So when he finally came, the great, legendary Gilopez KABAYAO was there, and we were so honored and astounded to hear his voice of wisdom. I met Corazon a few years after at the UST Conservatory of Music, where I took private lessons with then Director Benjamin Tupas, when Corazon was herself a regular student of Professor Aida Sanz Gonzalez. At that time I was in UST, of course, once a week, having my lessons. Corazon had the enviable reputation of being a pianist who practiced blindfolded. And we were wondering, why blindfolded? She has eyes. Well, I think, and maybe Corazon will validate it later, that she was practicing, even though there was light, she tried to blindfold herself so that the lips would be more accurate. And I'm sure, well, in the years that came after, and I'm sure this afternoon, we would hardly hear a wrong note. And that's probably the result of that kind of discipline. The KABAYAO family was also instrumental in my many concerts in Iloilo, of course, where they're from. And when we were also in New York together, we managed to sneak in a performance or two whenever they were in town. To this day, I'm also still thankful to Gilopez and Corazon for being instrumental in my own TOIM award in the late 1980s. They are the epitome and a perfect example of what Cultural Center is all about, and that is artistic excellence. When it comes to musical integrity, honesty, faithfulness, and discipline. All of them have it. And I salute Gilopez and Corazon for having reared up their 3 children this way. Although, as I said, they are in different fields right now, they still have that discipline in them. I remember once upon a time when I used to stay in the house when I had a concert in Iloilo. My alarm clock then was Sicilienne. I mean, she was probably like 5 or 6 years old. And she was crying at 5:30 in the morning because her father, her stage father, wanted her to practice that early. Again, without discipline and without that elusive word called practice, which is the single motto of all artists and musicians, we will never get anywhere. So today, as we celebrate 85 years of Gilopez's life, 45 years of their musical partnership, and 40 years of their marriage, we salute Gilopez, Corazon, Sicilienne, Farida, and Gilberto. We look forward to more years of music making, glorious music, and we thank you for your timeless legacy. Good afternoon, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, the eminent writer and music critic, Miss Rosalinda Orosa.
Friends and admirers of the KABAYAOs, it is a great honor and immense pleasure for me to speak on this auspicious triple celebration, the 85th birthday of virtuoso violinist Gilopez KABAYAO, his 40 years of wedded bliss with one of the country's leading pianists, Corazon Pineda, their 45 years of musical partnership and 65 years of concertizing, the latter part of which includes the participation of their talented children, Farida, Sicilienne, and Gilberto, in a unique KABAYAO quintet. Let me start with Corazon, a magna cum laude UST Conservatory graduate under Aida Sanz Gonzalez and recipient of the Rector's Medal, the highest recognition for academic excellence. She has performed with our major orchestras and celebrated artists including Raul Zunico, Rowena Arrieta, and Nena Villanueva. The Lopezes are sugar barons of Negros and Iloilo, to whom music has always been a passion an obsession, and a way of life. Gilopez's father, Doroteo, a doctor of medicine, was a violin graduate from the Chicago Music College under a mentor of Yehudi Menuhin. As a child, I listened to Dr. KABAYAO and his pianist wife, Doña Marcela, perform in our Bacolod residence. Gil Lopez's grandfather was Don Gil, a violinist composer whose 5 daughters played various musical instruments and sang operatic arias. Gil Lopez led the family chamber ensemble consisting of himself, his 3 pianist sisters, Marcelita becoming a concertist. At 7, Gil Lopez began his violin lessons under his father. At 7, he played Mendelssohn's violin concerto. After studies at the New York College of Music, he gave his debut recital at age 17 in New York's Town Hall, and after a year, he played at the Carnegie Hall. Wrote the New York Times in part, Mr. KABAYAO seemed to hold the large audience in the palm of his hand from beginning to end. In 1961, he rendered 21 concerts in 29 days in New Zealand, playing 5 different programs and 2 concertos. In the 1970s, he concertized in Japan, Canada, and the US. The New York Herald Tribune commented in part, his extraordinary qualities lift him from among technicians and place him among artists. The New Zealand Herald and the San Francisco Chronicle figuratively placed Gil Lopez on a pedestal. A decade earlier, the Vienna Neue Tageszeitung had predicted, if this charming young man with a fiery temperament continues on his way up, he will soon appear in bold letters in European music circles. After his distinguished engagement in the US, Europe, and Asia, he gave duo concerts in Manila and abroad with Corazon, whom he later married. A proselyting spirit drove them to perform in dilapidated theater houses, impoverished stages, classrooms, sports arenas, and even in cockpits in remote villages, thus spreading classic music to the masses and to thousands of our youth. Gil Lopez has served as authoritative conductor of the Manila Symphony Orchestra. He perseveres as dedicated pedagogue, his students consistently winning prizes in national competitions. To this day, the KABAYAOs, as duo concertists or as a quintet, perform in formal concerts in Iloilo or Manila while garnering glowing critical acclaim. The foregoing is a very condensed account of how the KABAYAOs have unprecedentedly and tremendously enriched and continue to enrich the country's musical life. My heartiest congratulations and highest admiration for the KABAYAOs. Thank you.
Ms. Carmencita Abella, President of the Ramon Magsaysay Awards Foundation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, friends and admirers of Gilopez KABAYAO and the KABAYAO family quintet. I have been asked to share with you how we in the Ramon Magsaysay Award Foundation have been, over the past 42 years, and in different ways, witnesses, admirers, supporters, and friends of Gilopez KABAYAO and his crusade to make the gift of music classical, traditional, spiritual, an enriching part of every Filipino's life. It is difficult to mention Gilopez Cabayao's name without evincing a smile that comes to one's lips. Somehow, when we speak of Gilopez, it invariably conjures up certain images. Images associated with soothing, uplifting music delivered ever so graciously. I guess that is because he is a Filipino and an Ilonggo. Images associated with almost contradictory performance stages, from elegant international concert halls to dusty cockpits, hot and bare school gymnasiums, open-air town plazas, but yet eliciting performances entirely credible, consistent, inspiring. Gilopez also conjures up images associated with hundreds of young, upturned faces, quickly responding to the first lesson where he introduces the violin and the different magical sounds by which it produces a simple and familiar children's song. Just by the way, he uses he uses violins capacity to produce different sounds. And images associated with intense preparation and discipline, which are wondrously masked in the comfortable, even conversational way that he plays the complex music of the masters on his beloved violin. When Gilopez was honored with the Magsaysay Award in 1972, 42 years ago, the foundation recognized, and I quote from his citation, his leadership in the renaissance of the performing arts, giving a new cultural content to popular life in the Philippines. As his award further reads, and again I quote, "For culturally deprived rural Filipinos, Gilopez Cabayao has opened musical vistas they would otherwise not have known. Training under American, Italian, and French masters, he became an international virtuoso, invited to perform with the Vienna and Tokyo Symphony Orchestras and the Town Hall and later Carnegie Hall in New York. Nevertheless, his major effort since 1952 has been devoted to bringing fine music to his own people. From schools in Panay, Bicol, and Mindanao, to cockpits in Negros and Romblon, improvised stages in Mountain Province, and a boxing ring in Cebu. He has purposefully given of his talent, often contributing the gate proceeds to community projects. When he was honored with the Ramon Magsaysay Award in 1972, Gilopez had obviously already chalked up an impressive record as an international violin virtuoso, as well as the unique distinction of giving back to his countrymen, especially the rural poor, the gift of his amazing talent and his passion to share the ennobling and uplifting impact of classical music. So fully 2 decades before he received the Magsaysay Award, Gilopez, with his younger sister and other piano accompanists, had already been more than a great violinist. He had also become a music missionary. His gospel messages were both generous and straightforward. First, that fine music, classical music in particular, is for everyone and must be made available to all, regardless of economic or social class. Second message, that classical music responds to every person's need to soothe the spirit, uplift one's sensibilities, awaken compassion, and live in harmony with others. The last statement in Gilopez's response, every awardee is asked to give a response at the awards presentation ceremonies on August 31st, 1972. That statement, the last in his response, is most telling, and I quote from his response. I'm not sure he remembers that he said this. I consider this moment not a culmination, but a fresh challenge. I accept this challenge with high hopes that my people will join me with great vigor in this unfinished task. With your continued help, we can do more. As he so eloquently asserted in this response, which by the way was read by his mother, because Gilopez was concertizing at that time in the United States, Gilopez saw that moment of international recognition as a fresh challenge and vowed to do even more. It is no coincidence that even then, a person who joined him in a partnership beyond his musical mission, Corazon Pineda, later KABAYAO, his likewise accomplished wife, has truly helped and inspired him to do more, including their, if I may use the term, co-production of the next generation of the KABAYAO artists. But beyond continuing the family legacy of socially inspired and socially committed performing artists, Gilopez, with Corazon by his side, has, in the 22 years following his Magsaysay Award, awakened tens of thousands of young students, awakening in them an incipient love for what classical music is and what it can do if it becomes part of their lives. Hopefully, their work in crusading for more meaningful music education for the millions of high school students throughout the country will bear fruit in educational policy, teacher training, and improvement in the music education curriculum. The foundation is proud to have been part of the KABAYAO Music Crusade in the past 2 decades. For 3 years, from 2001 to 2004, the KABAYAOs added a third level, or a third message, in their gospel of classical music for all. And that message is that an appreciation of good music can be easily acquired with the right policies, the right preparation of teachers, and the community's active engagement. Through a modest grant from the foundation, Gilopez and Corazon have enthralled over 33,000 more young Filipinos in high schools all over the country, and their teachers and principals as well, through a whole series of lecture recitals, which have invariably ended with bravos from now more enlightened and more enthusiastic audiences. And their lecture recital includes when to say bravo and how to say it properly. It is now 2014, but we know Gilopez is not counting the length of his crusade as a classical artist and music missionary. He is looking ahead at what more can be done, not just by the Fantastic Five, whom we heard, the KABAYAO Family Quintet, but by other artists and we ourselves as kindred spirits in his unfinished work. Nonetheless, for now, we pause to salute you, Gilopez Cabayao. You are truly an artist for the Filipino, and we are blessed to have discovered you and invited you into the Ramon Magsaysay Award community, where greatness of spirit and transformative leadership are truly serving the peoples of Asia. Thank you for making us and the rest of your fellow laureates proud to know and support you. Thank you.
85 years of a healthy, happy life. And the words of our friends, Ms. Carmencita Abella from the Magsaysay Awards Foundation and Ms. Rosalinda Orosa, they have been so kind and so generous to really lift us up in a way that we would never have expected. But we do the things that we did these past years, so many years, with joy and without expectation of even material returns. But there's so much that we have already gained. And part of that is for our 3 children to have experience going around, performing, and traveling with us. Those were experiences that could not be bought by money. So we would like to honor the God, the Lord Jesus Christ, who blessed us so by playing Lift of the Land. And we hope you will join us in thanking Him and thanking Him also for all the good things that you yourselves have gained from such a wonderful God. This is for Him. Thank you.